Text 11, text 12 and 13. We don't have to translate it. Okay, so we just finished the 4 nutshell verses. These 4 verses are considered the very heart of the Bhagavad Gita, the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Let's go over them again. Starting with text number 8. Krishna speaking, he says, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Text 9. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Text 10. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. And text 11 we did last night. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So these are the nutshell verses. This is the very essence of the Gita, these 4 verses. So now, Arjuna is going to respond. He's going to respond in the affirmative, that Krishna is God. And so really, in one sense, this verse, these 2 verses we're discussing tonight, the 2 verses we're discussing tonight are the confirmation from Arjuna that he accepts Krishna as the Supreme Person, and that really the Bhagavad Gita is finished here. In one sense, Arjuna is convinced, okay, now I understand you're not just my friend, but you're the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source of everything material and spiritual, and I've been treating you like a friend, but that was a mistake. So now, this is what Arjuna says. The next verse, Arjuna Vacha Param, go ahead. Param Brahma Param Dharma, Param Brahma Param Dharma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavam, Pavitam Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, Adideva Majam Vibhu, Adideva Majam Bhuhu, Ahustvam Vijaya Sarve, Ahustvam Vishaya Sarve,
Ahustvam Vishaya Sarve,
Devarsi Naradastata,
Devarsi Naradastata,
Devarsi Naradastata,
Devarsi Naradastata,
Asito Devalo Vyasa,
Asito Devalo Vyasa,
Asito Devalo Vyasa,
Asito Devalo Vyasa,
Swayam Chaiva Bhavismi Me,
Swayam Chaiva Bhavisi Me,
Swayam Chaiva Bhavisi Me,
Swayam Chaiva Bhavisi Me.
Arjuna Vacha,
Arjuna Vacha,
Param Brahma Param Dharma,
Param Brahma Param Dhamma,
Pavitram Paramam Bhavam,
Pavitram Paramam Bhava,
Purusham Shashvatam Divyam,
Purusham Saswatam Divya,
Adidevam Ajam Vibhum,
Adidevam Ajam Vivo,
Ahustvam Vishaya Sarve,
Ahustvam Risaya Sarve,
Devarsi Naradastata,
Devarsi Naradastata,
Asito Devalo Vyasa,
Asito Devalo Vyasa,
Swayam Chaiva Bhavisi Me.
Swayam Chaiva Bhavisi Me.
Okay, anybody want to try it?
Arjuna Vacha,
Arjuna Vacha,
Param Brahma Param Dhamma,
Param Brahma Param Dharma,
Pavitram Paramam Bhavan,
Paritram Bhagavam Bhavan,
Purusham Saswatam Divyam,
Purusham Shashvatam Divyam,
Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum,
Adidevam Vajam Viju,
Ahustvam Risaya Sarve,
Ahusam Vishaya Sarve,
Devarsir Naradastata,
Divarsi Naradastata,
Asito Devalo Vyasa,
Asita Devalo Vyasa,
Swayam Chaiva Bhavisi Me.
Ayam Chava Bhavisi Me.
अर्जुन उवाच
Arjuna Uvacha
परं ब्रह्म परं धाम
Param Brahma Param Dharma
पवित्रं परमं भवान्
Haritram Paramam Bhavan
पुरुषं शाश्वतं दिव्यम्
Purusha Shashvatam Divyam
आदिदेवम् अजं विभुम्
Adim Devam Ajamihu
आहुस्त्वां ऋषयः सर्वे
Ahushtam Ishaya Save
देवर्षिर्नारदस्तथा
Devasi Naradastata
असितो देवलो व्यास
Asita Devalo Vyasa
स्वयं चैव ब्रवीषि मे
Adam Seva Vavishite
Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha
Param Brahma Param Dhama
Param Brahma Param Dharma
Pavitram Paramam Bhavan
Haritam Paramam Bhavan
Purusham Shashvatam Divyam
Purisham Shashvatam Divyam
Adidevam Ajam Vibhum
Adi Devam Ajam Tuhu
Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve
Ahushatashaye Shave
Devasir Naradastatha
Devasi Naradastata
Asito Devalo Vyasa
Asita Devalo Vyasa
Swayam Chaiva Bravisi Me
Dayam Chadam Mataji's Microphone. Sam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vimho Bhaushyastaya Shave Devasi Dastata Asito Devalo Vyasa Arjuna Uvacha Arjuna said Param Supreme Brahma Truth Param Supreme Dharma Sustenance Pavitram Pure Paramam Supreme Bhavan You Purusham Personality Shashvatam Eternal Divyam Transcendental Adidevam the original Lord Ajam unborn Vibhum greatest Ahu say Tvam of you Vishaya sages Sarve all Devarishi the sage amongst the demigods Narada Tata also Asita Devala Vyasa Swayam personality Cha also Eva certainly Bhavisi you are explaining Me unto me. So this is Arjuna's acceptance of what Krishna said in the previous 4 verses. He's accepting, you are Para Brahman. You're not just Brahman, you are the source of Brahman. People think that merging into the Brahman, that's the goal. But that Brahman is resting on Krishna. That's explained and elsewhere in the Gita. In the 14th chapter, the last verse of the 14th chapter, Brahmanohi Pratishtaham. Krishna says, this Brahman that people are after, it's resting on me. So ultimately, God is a person. But this point is not accepted by many so-called scholars. They think God is just some energy, some light. But behind that light, there's a powerhouse. So Krishna is the source of that powerhouse. This is what he's clearly saying throughout the Gita, that he is the source of everything material and spiritual. But because our little brain can't understand it, we think, oh, how can it be? No, one person in charge of all the universe is so vast. That's how the scientists think. They measure everything. They're always measuring. So they're measuring with their own scale. And they think it can't be possible. Just like the frog in the well. the frog in the well, his friend from outside comes to join him in the well. He says, I just came from the Atlantic Ocean. It's a huge body of water. And the frog in the well says, is it twice as big as my well? Is it 4 times as big as my well? So we're trying to measure everything by our well, by our living condition, by our standard, by our own limitations of our personality. So we can't. We have to admit, inconceivable. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us that philosophy. Achinta beta beta tattva. Inconceivably one and different. God is one and different from His creation. The example is given of the sun and the sunlight. The sunlight is nothing but the sun, but it's also different. So we're nothing but God. Everything is God, but there's also difference. That's explained in the 7th chapter. The difference is the material energy, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence. These are all my material elements. Besides that, there's the living entity. You're a living entity. You're different than matter. You're not this body. You're the soul, which is eternal. It's spiritual. You're a spiritual being. And besides these two, there's Krishna Himself. He's the source of both material and spiritual. Everything. So it's a simple theology, but we don't have to be rocket scientists to understand it. But the problem is people, they measure from their own position, especially if they're big scholars or PhD and so like that. They're also always thinking, well, that doesn't make sense. According to my theory, they all have a theory. But we don't have a theory. We take it that Krishna is the Supreme and He's giving the knowledge to us. We don't have to be great learned fellows. All we have to do is accept it. But then we apply it in our life. Then we get the result. So that's science. Science says, yeah, you have to make an experiment and then you check the result. So I've been making an experiment with this Hare Krishna movement since 1968. How many years is that? 57 years. I've been experimenting with this theory that Krishna is God. And it works. You will get the result. Krishna will come into your heart more and more. He'll guide you. He'll give you intelligence, how you can come to Him. This is His promise. And I find that to be true. And I was skeptical at first. I wasn't Hindu or anything. I was skeptical. Who is this A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada that they're worshiping? Because the devotees were worshiping him. I think, I never thought we were supposed to worship a human being. I thought we only worship God. But I had to learn that Prabhupada is not God, but because of He's in harmony with God, He's worshipable. But not as God, but as the pure representative of God. So that requires a little intelligence. Some of these gurus, they're claiming to be God. And the followers are saying, yes, my guru is God. But this is bogus. Prabhupada never said he was God. Sometimes some of the disciples of Prabhupada were claiming he was God. He threw them out of his movement. He said, where did I ever say I was God? So we have to make a little discrimination. There's God, there's the living entity, and there's matter. 3 categories. Vishnu Tattva, Jiva Tattva, and Mahatattva. So we have a little intelligence to understand that everything is not one. But in a broader sense, we say, yeah, everything is one because nothing outside of God. Just like the government is one. But it has different departments, and they're doing different work. Police department is arresting someone. The welfare department is giving them food. So it doesn't make sense unless we have the vision of the government. So we have to have we have to see things from God's point of view. And then we can understand. Then it's not bewildered. And then Krishna says, Dadami Buddhi. Dadami means give, Buddhi means intelligence. And we just read 10:10. Dadami Buddhi, what is it? Tesham sariti yuktanam bhadita pratipu. Dadami Buddhi yena mamupiyantite. Yes. He'll give you the intelligence, you can know Him more and more. He's not so cheap that He's just going to show Himself. He wants to see What is your quality to see me? Here the word pavitram is used. Pavitram means pure. In order to see God with these eyes, we have to purify them. Now we're using our eyes to look at the women's behinds. I won't say who, but I saw a brahmachari in the heart teacher looking at the women. So with that kind of looking, you'll never see God. Premanjana charita bhakti vanaya chalena. We have to see with the slav of love. Then God will be revealed to us. Otherwise, it's not possible. And to get that love, we have to appreciate Krishna more and more, and Krishna's representative. So we were explaining last night the importance of Krishna's representative because he is teaching us by example. His example is there. Oh, we didn't read the purport, huh? Did we start the purport? Sorry. Okay, purport. In these two verses, the Supreme Lord gives a chance to the Mayavadi philosophers, for here it is clearly stated that the Supreme is different from the individual soul. Arjuna, after hearing the essential 4 verses of Bhagavad-Gita in this chapter, became completely free from all doubts and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He had once boldly declared, "You are Parabrahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead." So this is Arjuna's realization after hearing these 4 verses. So Prabhupada is chiding the impersonalists, the Mayavadi. Even hearing these 4 verses, they don't accept. They say, "No, I'm also God. I'm as good as God." But this is an offense. This is blasphemy. We have to accept that God is great and we're small. God is great and we're small. Any problems with that? We're small. We can't know what's going on in the next room. We have limited consciousness. But God is He's in everyone's heart. So He knows what's going on everywhere. So that's hard for us to understand. So therefore we become impersonalists and think, no, everything is God. There's no separate God. The Buddhists think like that also. I have a friend like that. He thinks that he doesn't believe that there can be a God who's the cause of all causes. No, the universe always existed and living, they have no real theory. They can't explain creation. Because creation requires intelligence. Intelligence requires a brain. A brain means a person. So we have to accept that God must be a person. Because we're persons and we have qualities like compassion. Compassion is a personal quality. So if we have that quality and God doesn't have it, that means we're greater than God. But that's bogus. No. God is the greatest. He also has compassion. He's also a person, but he's not a person like you and me. That is hard for us to digest because we have experience, like the frog in the well. That this is all I have experience, is my well. So we measure everything from the water in the well. They can't comprehend the ocean, it's too vast. Similarly, the scientists can't comprehend, or the impersonalists can't comprehend that God can be a person, at the same time be all-pervading and the source of everything, material and spiritual. This is the crux of their doubt. How can God be so powerful that He's controlling everything? And not only this one universe, but there's millions of universes. And one person is controlling them all? It seems to be impossible. And so they reject God. They can give some other theory, that God is energy or something. So this we have to accept. If we accept that God is a person, He'll reciprocate with us in a personal way. As we surrender to Him, He'll reciprocate. And He'll give us the intelligence that we can come to Him. But if we just, by our own strength, we have a PhD, we think we're so smart, we can't understand God like that. Those class of people are described. Maya ya paritagyana. They're over-intelligent. SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple. Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki. Let's wait. Maybe it'll quiet down a little bit. It's not closing. Sitaram. He's giving garlands. Now he's coming to close Gornitai. Everybody come on this side. Gornitai Jaya Godanitai. Godan. Shri Gornitai ki. Shri Prabhupada ki. Come get the Maha from the hand of the Pujari. It's nice. That's why people are waiting, just to see. So this is your culture. The deity worship is going on for generations and millions of years. So why not accept that God is a person? Why this idea that this was introduced by Sankaracharya, and there was a theory, there was a purpose behind it, because Emperor Ashoka, he converted all of India into be Buddhists. The Buddhists, they don't accept the Vedas. So Sankaracharya said, no, we don't accept the Vedas, because in the Vedas it mentions animal slaughter. So they want ahimsa. So they threw out the Veda. So Sankaracharya brought the Veda back, but he gave only half-truth. And now, by Prabhupada has come, he's given us the whole truth, especially Srimad Bhagavatam. Everything is there. Bhagavad-Gita also, everything is here. But they misread it. Okay, let's finish the purple. And previously Krishna stated that he is the originator of everything and everyone. Every demigod, every human being is dependent on him. Men and demigods, out of ignorance, think that they are absolute and independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That ignorance is removed perfectly by the discharge of devotional service. This has already been explained in the previous verse by the Lord. Now by His grace, Arjuna is accepting Him as the Supreme Truth in accordance with the Vedic injunction. It is not that because Krishna is Arjuna's intimate friend, Arjuna is flattering him by calling him the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth. Whatever Arjuna says in these two verses is confirmed by Vedic truth. Vedic injunction affirms that only one who takes to devotional service to the Supreme Lord can understand Him, whereas others cannot. Each and every word of this verse spoken by Arjuna is confirmed by Vedic injunction. In the Katha Upanishad, it is stated that the Supreme Brahman is the rest for everything, and Krishna has already explained that everything is resting on Him. Mundaka Upanishad confirms that the Supreme Lord is in whom everything is resting can be realized only by those who engage constantly in thinking of Him. This constant thinking of Krishna is smaranam, one of the methods of devotional service. It is only by devotional service to Krishna that one can understand His position and get rid of this material body. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is accepted as the purest of the pure. One who understands that Krishna is the purest of the pure can become purified from all sinful activity. One cannot be disinfected from sinful activities unless he surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. Arjuna's acceptance of Krishna as the Supreme Pure complies with the injunction of Vedic literature. This is also confirmed by the great personalities of whom Narada is the chief. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one should always meditate upon Him and enjoy one's transcendental relationship with Him. He is the Supreme Existence. He is free from bodily needs, birth and death. Not only does Arjuna confirm this, but all the Vedic literature, the Puranas and history. In all Vedic literature, Krishna is described, and the Supreme Lord Himself is thus described. And the Supreme Lord Himself also said in the 4th chapter, although I am unborn, I appear on this earth to establish religious principles. He is the supreme origin. He has no cause, for he is the cause of all causes, and everything is emanating from him. This perfect knowledge can be had by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Here Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. If we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should accept the statements of these two verses. This is called parampara system, acceptance of the disciplic succession. Unless one is in the disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. It is not possible by so-called academic education. Unfortunately, those proud of their academic education, despite so much evidence in Vedic literature, stick to their obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. Srila Prabhupada ki. So we see that Prabhupada's purports are just like Shastra. But we have to accept it, coming in disciplinary succession. Prabhupada was accepting his Guru Maharaj in the same way. He was accepting fully, not just taking a little bit here, according to what. Then your mind becomes your Guru. Our mind has been our Guru since time immemorial. But the mind is following the senses, and they're all material. We want to get Guru is spiritual. So therefore, we're happy to accept Srila Prabhupada as our Guru. And we want to be at his feet for eternally, because the relationship is eternal. Prabhupada made it clear to us. When we leave this body, we still have, Srila Prabhupada will be our Guru, and, or Grand Guru, whatever the case. So remain securely at Prabhupada's feet. Okay, any questions? I never get any questions. What about you, sir? Any questions? Okay, no questions. Oh.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, I have a very basic question. One very basic question, Maharaj. This verse which we read today is followed by the Chatushloki. I mean, the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita just came before this, right? So, Arjuna could conclude everything just by hearing the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita once. We have been hearing it year after year so many times, but even an iota of difference is not coming.
That's because you're a rascal. Why don't you convince? What do you have that's better? What's your philosophy then? What's your philosophy?
I only accept this theory, but when it comes to actually doing the things, I don't meditate and don't remember them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's a gradual process. If you remember sometime, that's good. But why not accept fully Bhagavad Gita as it is? There's no defect here. You point out any place in Prabhupada's Gita, there's a defect. No, it's perfect. Knowledge coming down. So if you only accept some small part of it, then the rest you go back to your mind and your intelligence. But mind and intelligence, they're material. And you'll be cheating yourself. Mind is described in the 6th chapter as the best friend or the worst enemy. So mind that wants to be the guru, it becomes the enemy. The mind will say, go here. The mind will say, go here. No, go here. Go. And you're following your mind. You've been doing that since time immemorial. It hasn't brought you happiness. But maybe you have to be kicked some more. I've been kicked enough. I don't want to be kicked anymore. Therefore, I want to do exactly what Prabhupada wants me to do. That's my mood, is to try to be a strict follower of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, His divine grace. So you can pray that I be able to do that, but it's not so difficult because whatever Prabhupada has said is very practical. It's not fanatical. It's based on his realization and the words of his guru from his guru, and original guru is Krishna. So why not take it fully instead of just a little bit? Because you only take partly, that means your mind is still your guru. So it's your choice. You want to keep your mind as your guru, or you want to have a bona fide guru coming in different succession. Next. Anything from the Matajis? Give the mic.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaji. So as mentioned in the purport that academic education, like something was there, like academic education doesn't help us to grow in Krishna consciousness. So like without understanding its deeper meaning, I just overthink that academic education will not help me to grow in Krishna consciousness. So like how should I encourage myself to study my academics like?
No, there's no interpretation. It's clear, black and white. Why you want to interpret? That's because you have a PhD or you're going to get it, and you think you're so smart, you can interpret Prabhupada's words, which are very clear, like the blue sky. Your academic education won't help you in spiritual life. It may help you get money. It can give you an economic position, which you may need. We don't say that you can't make money to maintain yourself. And if you're getting an education so you can get a better job, but don't think you're going to learn anything spiritual there. They're not going to teach you anything about spiritual life in the university, sorry. Because they themselves are blind leading the blind. They don't know who they are. They don't know what the purpose of life is, but you're sitting at their feet to hear. Okay, you can do that. But the knowledge you get may be applicable to this world, but it won't bring you to the spiritual world. You may get a good position in this world with a PhD, and so on, but you're not going to get out of this world. So we want to get out, back home, back to Godhead. You stay here if you want, but Prabhupada's inviting you.
Maharaj, one more question. Like there are a lot of things that is happening. Like I start overthinking on very small things. So how should I overcome that overthinking?
Yeah, the same overthinking is thinking that you can interpret Prabhupada's words. Just accept it, Bhagavad-Gita as it is. Just accept it. Srila Prabhupada as he is. He's giving so much information in the purport. Okay, so, but your mind, it's not surprising because your mind has been your guru for so long, millions of lifetimes. So now you're neglecting the mind. And the mind doesn't like that. Why are you neglecting me? I've been your guru for so long, and now you don't care for me? So the mind will play tricks with you and try to reassert its position. Therefore, intelligence is higher than the mind. We're not against intelligence. With intelligence, you should regulate the mind. The mind is like a small child, 3 or 4 years old. You don't turn over the affairs of the house to the child. He's very innocent and pure, but he's not equipped to manage. So the mind is like that. It's not equipped because it's too much influenced by the senses. The senses are pulling the mind. Oh, go to the cinema. It's a great movie. Oh, go to the nightclub, the naked dance. In this way, your mind is dragging you. And the senses say, yeah, we'll have fun. We'll see the naked dance. Then we'll be happy. No, it's cheating you. Mind and senses are cheating you. So with your intelligence, you should think, I don't want to go to the cinema. I want to come to the temple. So you come tonight. Intelligence has brought you here. So don't neglect intelligence. And when you have a choice, because everybody has a choice, so we should accept everything favorable for our devotional service and reject everything unfavorable. That's one principle, very simple. Accept everything favorable for your devotional service and reject everything unfavorable. Is that difficult to understand? But we won't do that. But that's the process. Accept everything favorable, reject everything unfavorable. It's simple. Simple for the simple.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you. Anyone else? He's coming.
Hare Krishna Maharaji, Dandavad Pranam. Thank you for the beautiful lecture. Maharaji, my question is how to practice Krishna consciousness in our daily life?
Okay. Yeah, we want to put Krishna in our daily life. That's what Arjuna did.
Yes.
He didn't give up his work. He was thinking of giving up his work and going to the forest. But Krishna said, no, you should work according to your capacity. You're a Kshatriya, you should work as a Kshatriya. So you're you have some kind of skills that you're using. Use those. But the question is, what do you do with the money you make? It shouldn't be extravagant. You should live simply. Simple living, high thinking. This is our formula. Don't have to extravagant and things the rich people are living in. No, we don't want that. We want to live simply, and the balance of time and money, we should dedicate it to this mission. This ISKCON mission is, you can say, authorized by Srila Prabhupada to change the world. And I see that it's working, especially here in India. I was here for the opening of this temple in 1978. I was right here. And I see what a difference it is. So many more people are coming, so many people are chanting, and not only here, but all over India. Thousands of young boys and girls are coming, and it wasn't like that before. In the beginning, they thought we were, what did they say? Dam Hare Dam, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. They were making fun of us that we smoked marijuana or something. No. And there were no PhDs joining us. We got some devotees, but they were mostly village boys, like Lokanath. He's a great devotee, but he's from the village, right? He's simple enough to accept it. And people with PhD, they think, no, I don't want to hear about this Hare Krishna. I have a better idea. But what is a better idea? If your idea is so good, then why is there so many problems in this world? Why don't you solve the problems of this world with your PhD? They can't solve the problems because it's made to be problematic by Krishna. Krishna certifies dukkhalayam ashashvata. It's temporary and full of misery. Can you change that with your PhD? No. It's going to remain like that. Krishna wants it like that. So sincere people can understand, this is not my real home. Let me finish up and go back to Godhead. But as long as you have attachment to the material thing, it doesn't mean you shouldn't love your family. Your mother has to take care of her children. Those things are there. Once there's a story, there was one lady, she had a small child, but she was spending more time with the deity. And Prabhupada said, no, you should think your baby is like the deity. So we're very practical. We don't say, just become renounced and everybody takes sannyas and run away to the forest. No. Stay in your position and just add Krishna. Anyone else? Mataji, is there? I can't see. Yeah, there's a lady raising her hand.
Radhe Krishna Maharaj, my question is...
Nanda, what's she saying? Go ahead.
My question is how to develop patience.
Patience.
How to develop patience in
That's
any
a good
kind
one.
of
I'm
work.
still learning that myself. I get impatient with stupid questions. But yours is a good question, so I'm happy. But because Swami says, yes, patience is a very important quality. We say in English, is the mother of all virtue, patience. Because it brings us to the mode of goodness. We have to wait. We can't force God. Come in front of me. I want to see you. We have to be patient. You have to be patient at every step. And I'll say that I'm not perfect in that regard. I'm still learning how to be more patient, more tolerant. Prabhupada, I saw, he was perfectly patient. He tolerated so much, his disciples and so on. But I'm more passionate. So we have to transcend all the modes of material nature. But generally, we come from ignorance to passion, passion to goodness. And then we can transcend. From goodness, if we're in the mode of goodness, it's like being in the airport. You're still in Bombay, but you can get a plane out easily. So similarly, if you're in the mode of goodness, you can more easily transcend all the modes. But the danger is, you can think the mode of goodness is happiness, and then you stay here. Because in the mode of goodness also, there's old age, disease, and death. So we want to be free from all the modes. Nishchay guna bhavarjuna. Transcend the modes of material nature. Brahma bhuta prasanadma, nasochati, nakanchati, samasarvesu bhutesu, mad bhaktim labate param. We can transcend the modes of material nature. That's the 26th verse of the 14th chapter. Chapter 14, it deals with the modes of nature. You can read that chapter. A very good lesson is there. So yes, in order to be perfectly perfect, we have to become pure devotees. Like Lord Jesus. We think he was a pure devotee. He was being crucified and he was telling, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. That's a very exalted consciousness, Christ consciousness. But the problem is the followers, they can't do that, and so they say he must be God. No, he's not God. That's a mistake. Just like we saw in ISKCON. Some devotees were saying Prabhupada was God, but Prabhupada threw them out of his movement. So the Christians, they were saying that Christ is God. That's a mistake. It's a serious mistake. It's called blasphemy. You think the Jiva is equal to Vishnu. It's not. And we see that in Hinduism also. They say their guru is God. Some of these boys are saying, I met a devotee of I forget what group he was, but he was claiming that his guru was God. And I said, well, is he causing the sun to rise in the morning? He's causing everything. He got angry with me because I was questioning his guru, that he wasn't God. So this is the craziness. It comes to Hinduism, it comes to Christianity. I don't think the Muslims think like that. That's one of the credit. They think God is great and we're small. Allah Akbar. Of course, they become fanatical too. And they start killing each other, Shia and Sunni. So Lord Chaitanya is the real avatar for this age. He didn't kill. He killed the demoniac mentality. How did he kill the demoniac mentality? Hare Krishna. Hare Rama. Very good. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki